And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and providing you the timely truth centered around real estate, credit, finance, self-defense, and so much more. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, where our number one goals are to educate, entertain, enlighten, and engage you in helping you live a better life.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Helping you win in any marketplace. That's the goal of our show. And we want you to save our hotline number in your phone. At some point, you're going to need it. 813-670-7372.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
813-670-7372.
Here's my number, so call me maybe.
And consumerqb.com. Check out our newly redesigned website, consumerqb.com, and you can find links to all of our expert contributors, the finest folks in all of Tampa Bay and the Gulf Coast region of Florida that we've assembled and vetted to help you win no matter what you're facing. So we don't care if you're climbing a corporate ladder or if you throw a ladder in your truck on the way to work. This show's for you. We're going to help you win. Interesting stories lined up for today. We've got the Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. They canceled a cruise to help hurricane relief efforts via Fox News. Great story there. And we also have expert contributors here in studio. We got a phone in coming in from James Lascano. Is going to be calling in as well, Transworld Business Advisors. And in studio today, we got Joe Harrison Martial Arts. Welcome in, sir.
It's great to be here, Brandon. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. What do you want to talk about today?
Okay. Today we're going to be talking about a few things. I've got how to shop for a good martial arts school, and I've got why the price doesn't matter when you're calling and shopping around about self-defense and martial arts, whether it's for yourself or your kids. And lastly, I'm going to try to engage. Excuse me. I'm going to try to engage some of the people here in the studio. Everybody that's here, about some questions about martial arts.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. I love the demos you do at our gratitude parties, our networking events. By the way, we got our next gratitude party coming up over at Cox Media Group on Thursday, the 19th. At Cox Media Group, 1025 The Bone Studio, and a lot of our friends over there from the radio world, Ian Beckles, Drew Garabo, Calta, and his team, come out and check us out over there Thursday the 19th at Cox Media Group on 4th Street North in St. Pete. Come out and join us. If you want, you've got to RSVP, though. They won't let you in the building unless we have a name and information on you. So reach out if you'd like to come out and join us there. You can submit the form at consumerqb.com. consumerqb.com. And we're here in studio as well. We're going to be talking with John Gaston as well, Tampa Bay Multimedia. John, welcome in, buddy. You there, man?
I'm here.
Okay. Got the mic going. So John is responsible for this awesome TV show we've been doing now. What are we getting, around 50,000 viewers a month on the TV show, John?
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah. So yeah, we're having a lot of fun, and we're also looking for business owners out there that might want to join us on air. We've got a few select categories available for growth. We're growing and having a lot of fun with it. And also published author here, Become the MVP in Your Industry is our book. We would love to talk to you about that. Check it out online on Amazon.com, Become the MVP in Your Industry. And a really cool announcement is we partnered up with Ken Shamrock and Des Woodruff, who just released their podcast. Check out their podcast, The World's Most Dangerous Podcast, as well. Talks about MMA, but he's also got a business spin on with their Lion's Cage, something similar to the Shark Tank. And we were honored to be joining them with this new project that we're launching, myself, my fiance Lindsay, and we are doing the Business Growth Celebrity Academy, where we're teaching people how to start their own show and kind of grow their sphere of influence and all the cool things that come along with being a celebrity in your marketplace, growing your business and maximizing the airwaves, the radio and TV show airwaves. So we're a syndicated show now, 5 o'clock drive time here, prime time drive time on AM 1380 The Biz, and also syndicated on the weekends, FM 1025 The Bone on Sunday mornings, daily TV show on WeBeam TV at 10 a.m. as well, which you can also stream that live from our website at WeBeam TV or consumerqb.com. And we've got some great content lined up for you today. James Lascano is going to be calling in, talking about Transworld Business Advisors. And we always start off with a little personal development for you.
Omaha!
So we want to help you, business owners out there. Today, what we want to do is we want to talk about the law of correspondence. So if you've heard about this law, and there's a lot of principles and laws that happen in life and in the world, but the law of correspondence says that we've got to control our thoughts. So the understanding and applying the law of correspondence. So most of us have heard the old adage, the outer world is nothing more than a reflection of the inner world, and as within, so without. So as above, so below. So the law of correspondence basically says that our current reality is a mirror image of what's going on inside us. And unfortunately, our mind just naturally wanders throughout the day. We're pulled in so many directions, especially nowadays more than ever. You got to control your thoughts. Your mind is naturally going to wander. The power of focus is very important. So what we focus on expands, and where our focus goes, our energy flows. So the key to personal happiness, freedom, and peace of mind is to change your thoughts by focusing exclusively on what we truly desire. A lot of times you'll hear folks writing down in gratitude journals, writing down their goals daily. So live with great expectancy. This is something that's really big. So think outside of what the norm or what your surrounding or maybe what your parents did. Think above that. And take a hard look at yourself, take a long, hard look, and your relationships, your health, your financial situation, whatever you are seeing it as a result of what your decisions you made, any decisions you made. So if you want to take full responsibility for whatever is happening in your life, we're all self-made, but it's interesting how, you hear the term self-made millionaires, right? We're all self-made, but only the successful ones like to admit it.
That's nice.
So
I like that.
visualize, meditate, pray for what you want, and focus on the law of correspondence, because as you are thinking on a daily basis, it's going to reflect on the outside. So there's your 2-minute drill from the Consumer Quarterback Show. Let's go ahead and talk with Joe Harrison here, Harrison Martial Arts, in studio with us. Self-defense is more important than ever in this world that we're living in. It seems crazy. You got hurricanes, you've got crime, a lot of different aspects, and not only online, offline, cyberbullying, a lot of ways that we have to worry about protecting ourselves. Joe.
Oh man, you couldn't have said it any better than that. I mean, that was just exactly to the T what I basically think about every day. And I've had a really good observation over the last probably few months or so, with the hurricane and all this stuff that's going on in politics, and how important it is, exactly what you said, why it's so important to get involved in self-defense on so many levels. And not just going in and learning self-defense from a physical standpoint, but also from a mental, emotional, political standpoint, you name it. There's so many different branches of martial arts and self-defense that most of the population doesn't understand, and how many branches it actually reaches out to.
Right.
You can learn self-defense for your employment. You can learn it for your relationship. You can learn it for, like I said, politics. You can learn it for sports. There's so many different things that you can learn self-defense and apply it to. So it's not just learning martial arts. It's learning how to carry it over into other things in your life. So you might go to a martial arts studio for, 2 or 3 days a week, but the question is, can you carry it over to other aspects of your life? Because if you can't, you're really not getting, the full spectrum out of it. So that's the whole thing, is most people don't know how to carry it over. They're not being told how to do it or taught how to do that. They go in, they learn how to do some punches and kicks and grappling and whatever the martial art may be that they're learning, but they're not really educated on how to carry it over to to other parts of their life to make them more successful.
Yeah, the industry as a whole is kind of catering towards monetary gain, making money.
Yes.
So then they say, oh, well, let's bring the kids in the after school program, teach them some stuff that's not as applicable as what you're teaching at Harrison Martial Arts.
Yeah, I mean, the question is, can you handle verbal conflict? Can you handle emotional conflict? Can you handle physical conflict? Can you handle political conflict? And what about conflict with your coworkers or your employer? I mean, there's so many different things that you have to learn how to deal with conflict. It's not just if somebody punches you in the face,
right?
Conflict. And so that's what makes my studio very different from so many others. A lot of times people call in and they ask me, hey, what are your prices? And I say, well, my question to them is, what are you buying? I mean, do you think that I'm the same as what everybody else is doing out there? Did you do your research? Did you look at my website and see what I'm doing and how and why? Yeah. Because then the question is, well, does it matter what I'm charging? Obviously I'm not going to charge like $1,000 a month or anything, but you have to set your prices so that the market can afford it. But the question is, at the end of the day, if I'm talking about teaching you things that are going to save your life or that of a loved one, does the price really matter? Mm-hmm. I mean, can you really quantify that? And that's where I get a little frustrated with the consumer or the clients is when they call me and they ask me what the price is, and I say, well, let's figure out what you're trying to get first. There's really no reason for me to quote a price if this isn't going to fit for you.
Customize a program.
Exactly. And
Customize a program, and that question comes up in real estate too. People will say, "Well, how's the market?" Well, which part of the market are you interested in? Are you looking to invest in real estate? Are you looking for your owner-occupied residence? Are you maybe looking to lease a property, apartment complex? There's so many complex questions out there, and that's great as a salesperson. Is how do you react to that?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I like to and a lot of times I end up kind of steering clients away or potential customers, or however you want to put it. In my industry, especially in my business specifically, I don't call them customers, they're clients.
Right.
Because they're not shopping, they're investing. And there's a big difference between investing yourself and your time and your money and shopping. Like, you can shop in a mall. When it comes to something like martial arts, it's not something you necessarily shop around for.
Yeah.
It's not like a pair of shoes, So that's the first thing that I want to educate the consumer on and let them understand that, when you're calling in or you're inquiring about martial arts training, make sure you understand that it is about your life.
Yeah.
That you're investing your time and your money and your effort as a way to improve your mental, physical, and emotional well-being.
Yeah, and you always have to sharpen the saw too, no matter how how tough somebody thinks they are, or I've got the gun in my purse, or I've got the pepper spray.
Right.
You've got to sharpen the saw and understand that there's ways and there's consequences. Like the last event we did, the lady said, "Well, I'll just pull out my gun and shoot him."
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, exactly.
How fast can you react?
Yeah.
And do you want to have the potential consequences of law enforcement in a civil suit that it can cost you $100,000, cost you your life? Basically.
Huge consequences because people don't want to invest in the actual training. They just go and they get their concealed weapons permit, or they go and take a class at a martial arts school once or twice a week.
Yeah.
But that's hobby.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna get the results that you get from a hobby, not from something that you're truly trying to excel at. It's really kind of sad the way that martial arts is being sold and perpetuated and advertised in the real world, because I'm like, you're not going to get results from that.
Yeah.
You have to be really serious about martial arts training if you want to be really great at it. If you want to be Bruce Lee, you got to train like Bruce Lee. If you want to be a Ken Shamrock or a George St. Pierre or a Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather, you have to train like those guys train to get their results.
That's right.
But you can't go, I'm going to go once or twice a week and be a black belt or be, some kind of badass. It's not going to work that way. I don't know. I think
nowadays, I think nowadays, you can say that word. Mike said it's okay.
No. Cool.
So yeah, I think nowadays more or less it's more about, it's more about, hey, I'm a single dad, I'm a single mom, I'm taking the kids to soccer, whatever it might be. Just being aware, having awareness. People are doing things. You see the movie cameras where the video cameras rather, where they're at the pump. They get out, they go and pump their gas. The kids are driving up and grabbing the purse off the front seat. We're being naive. We're leaving money on the table, so to speak.
Right.
And there's a lot of things that could happen. So that's the reason why we set this show up almost 5 years ago now as a consumer advocate-based radio and TV show. We have a lot of business owners, intelligent talk radio, and we're going to help you think a layer deeper, be smart about what you're doing. So more from Joe Harrison. He's here with us the whole show. We've got James Lascano calling in as well, Transworld Business Advisors. And we also got my man John Gaston here in studio as well. He's helping us out. He also has a background as a fighter as well. We'll talk a little bit with him about some of his background. And so stay with us here, Consumer Quarterback Show. We're helping you win in any marketplace, and we have a great lineup for you today here. So stay with us. Don't touch that dial. More from our expert contributors after this short break.
Hey everybody, I'm Forbes Riley, celebrity TV fitness host and creator of The Spin Gym. I'm here today with Brandon Rhymes, and you're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Great ways to get happy, healthy, and wealthy.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, former USF football player. I played on the inaugural football team at the University of South Florida. Go Bulls. Real excited about a lot of things happening and some pretty cool stuff happening here in Tampa Bay as well with the USF St. Pete campus is they're raising their first Southeastern guide dog. So interesting story from USF campus in St. Pete. We're going to talk about that as well as in studio with me today. We've got Joe Harrison Martial Arts. We're expecting a call in from James Lascano with Transworld Business Advisors. And in studio as well, we've got John Gatson with Tampa Bay Multimedia. He helps us with our TV show stream. We've got our TV show streaming here as well on WeBeam TV, helping you win in any marketplace. And we're giving a shout out to Brio Tuscan Grill, one of our restaurant partners. Excellent food at Brio Tuscan Grill at the International Plaza in Tampa. And it's located off of Bay Street next to the Renaissance Tampa Hotel, International Plaza. And at Brio Tuscan Grill at the International Plaza Mall, you will find an Italian menu, drinks, and a cozy atmosphere, bringing you the pleasures of the Tuscan Country Villa to Tampa. We invite you to make your reservation today and try the Italian menu and enjoy the best Italian restaurant dining experience. And I got to tell you, they got great food, excellent food over there, and the staff is super friendly. We're going to start doing live events from Brio Tuscan Grill as well, coming up on our Friday night live edition, 5 o'clock show times over there, right on the terrace there. You can actually see the terrace where we're going to be doing it on the screenshot that we have. So we're really excited about a lot of the growth around the show, and we are looking for show partners as well as realtors. Any other realtors that might want to join our brokerage. Platinum MVP Realty is a top listing agency here in Tampa Bay, where we have a unique approach to helping sellers profit more on the sale of their real estate properties. For example, we've got a beautiful new listing here at 3610 Casablanca Avenue, St. Pete Beach. It's just north of the Don Cesar on St. Pete Beach, and it's close to our hotel partner. The property is 3610 Casablanca Avenue, St. Pete Beach, just south of the Hotel Zamora, and it's $625,000. Great buying opportunity here for a duplex just north of the beach, and it's a great opportunity to walk across the beach and enjoy the beautiful living there at the St. Pete Beach area. It's a great opportunity in beautiful, sunny Tampa Bay. All right. So we're helping you win in any marketplace. In studio today, we've got self-defense guru and my coach. You know, we need a coach in almost every aspect. I've got business coaches that I work with. I've got my coach for self-defense as well, Joe Harrison here in studio, and we're expecting James Lascano. Is James on the line over there, guys? Not yet. Okay. So so let's go back to Joe then. So Joe, let's talk about it. I go in there, I work with you, everything from handling knives to
right.
Proper ways to control a gun,
right.
a firearm, to just using the good old fist and elbows and knees and all that fun stuff. Let's give a little overview of some of the stuff maybe that we've done together or that someone in my position would want to do.
Okay, well, what I would want to start out with first is that martial arts is split up into what I call derivatives. Okay, so let's say you're talking about Taekwondo. Taekwondo is a derivative of the kicking range. And there's 4 different ranges of combat, 4 different ranges of close quarters combat. You have the kicking, punching, trapping, and grappling ranges. Now, something like Taekwondo would be the derivative of the kicking range. Boxing is a derivative of the hand range. Okay, and then you have different other ranges like weapons range where you have edged weapons contact, impact weapons contact, flexible weapons, and things like that. So my studio specializes in all those aspects, which are the 4 ranges of combat, including the weapons ranges and close quarters. I don't do any, I don't teach or train any long range combat, which would be like actually shooting firearms. If you wanted to learn how to shoot a firearm, you got to go to a range.
Right.
If you wanted to do rifle training, that's a different place, or whatever. If you want to do competitive martial arts, that's a different place. So what I specifically deal in is the close quarters solutions for combat, everyday self-defense, military, tactical, law enforcement, you name it. And what I would like to also say on top of that is you do not need to be military or law enforcement trained in order to teach military and law enforcement. That is a huge misconception in the martial arts community. For instance, I go to a place, I go to this gun shop, and this guy, I'm trying to pitch my my 9/11 workshop,
Right.
and he's like, are you military or law enforcement trained? And I said no, but I teach them.
Right.
And then basically I'm a contractor. And then of course he wouldn't have any other conversation with me because in his mind, you need to be military or law enforcement trained in order to be able to do something like that, and that is not
So
true.
close-minded,
It's very close-minded.
People are close-minded.
Right.
They don't understand. You know,
Yeah.
the bottom line is today you're walking out of the mall, you're going to your car, or
Right.
you're coming out of a nightclub at night.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to get jumped. There's
Right.
going to be things that are going to happen. They're going
Right.
to, face it. Tampa Bay is, I believe, it's in the top 10 in terms of the sex trade. Abducting kids, putting them in a container ship,
Yeah.
and shipping them overseas
It's
or
awful.
wherever they do that.
Right.
So this is real life. I sign up for the Bay News 9 alerts. All the time. There's home invasions, people kicking in doors, coming in, running through your house, robbing what they want to take.
Right.
There's this stuff is real.
Yeah.
And this is real life.
Right. And then, look at a place like Puerto Rico right now after the hurricane.
Oh, yeah, prime
all the
example.
looting. I mean, when people are really truly pushed to their limits in a situation like that, and
Yeah.
we could have been Puerto Rico. And
Yeah.
we're not. We were very lucky.
Yep.
We could have been in a position like them where people would have gotten pushed to their desperation and they would have started doing whatever they had to do to survive.
Yeah.
People that were normally just everyday average individuals who had control over their emotions, next thing you know, they turn on you.
Yep.
Because it's a question of survival. And now what are you going to do? Well, if you had self-defense training and tactical training, you would have had a much higher percentage of survival than the ones who don't.
Yeah.
And so, but unfortunately it takes some sort of catastrophic event or situation for people to go, hey, I need training.
Yeah, we have short memories about things.
Yeah.
9/11 has only been, what is it, like
16
years now.
Yeah.
So these types of things happen, and the memory, unless it's right in our mind,
Right.
it's a lot of times we don't think about it, and
Right.
we also have that mentality of, it won't happen to us.
Oh man, that's
But it sometimes flips whenever they buy a lottery ticket.
Right.
That same person
Exactly.
buys a lottery ticket, says, "Oh, I'm going to win this one."
right, yeah, right, exactly. It's because they got it right there. But so my thing is for the consumer and the people that are shopping around for martial arts is make sure you do your diligence and research. If you call an auto dealership, are you going to ask them if their cars are good? No, you're going to actually go to the dealership and you're going to get in one and drive it. You want to see what you're buying. So when I tell people when they're calling me or whatever and asking me about prices, I'm saying I'm not quoting prices until you come in. I want you to
Right.
come in and I want you to see what I'm doing here and see how different it is from everybody else.
Right.
And if they don't come in because I don't want to give them a price, that's fine. I can handle that.
Right.
But what I can handle is if I give them a price and then they run away because they're like, that's too much money. Well, too much money compared to what?
Right.
Too much money compared to your life? I
Yep.
mean, really? Like if let's say I charge $125 a month, I'm talking about teaching you things that could save your life.
Which is very affordable
And you're
almost on
putting
any
it-
budget.
Oh yeah, and you're talking about if that's all your life is worth, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's hard to really educate the consumer when the first thing on their mind is how much it costs. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, how much is your life?
Absolutely.
So, I mean,
well, stay with us
yeah.
here. When we come back, more from Joe Harrison. We got James Lascano coming up as well, Transworld Business Advisors. He's going to teach you how to buy and sell businesses, how to value a business, and that's an important aspect for anybody that's self-employed out there. And also a big announcement as well. We we're working on. We solidified a deal to be a weekly expert contributor on Captain Matt Bruce, who's on 860 The Answer, 930 The Answer as well, 1380 The Biz. He has a very popular show with all the veterans, with all the stuff going on with the NFL and the veterans. So we're going to be commenting on his show 5:30 a.m. On Wednesdays going forward, 5:30 a.m. on Wednesdays. And so check us out on consumerqb.com. And we would love to hear from you. We would love to hear feedback. Anything that you need, let us know how we can serve. We're here to serve you, to help you, and we have a moral obligation to give back and be a force for good in the community. So stay with us. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, the Quarterback Show. We're talking self-defense today. We're talking business brokers, how to buy and sell a business, and also a lot about real estate as well, the local economy, a little bit about hurricane relief efforts as well. And we are excited about a lot of the positive things happening around Tampa Bay. So we're giving a shout out here to Signature Massage and Facial Spa. If you're looking for a place to get a massage, I highly recommend Craig and his team over at Signature Massage and Facial Spa in Tampa. They're located at 11248 West Hillsborough Avenue, and they have a wonderful special at $49.95, no contracts. And for those muscles and knots that need extra work, ask about getting a deep tissue or sports massage. And they also have skin care packages as well. So if you're looking for a facial, microderm packages, check out Signature Massage and Facial Spa, 11248 West Hillsborough Avenue in Tampa, and give them a call directly. Make sure you let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. You're going to get $10 off your first appointment. 813-925-8898, 813-925-8898. Signature Massage and Facial Spa in Tampa, one of our show partners here with the Consumer Quarterback Show. And we're back here in studio helping you win. Also, I'm the owner of Platinum MVP Realty, and I got a couple of hot listings I got to let you know about. This is a property in Largo. It's 14465 Tanglewood Drive in Largo. This is a Bay Hill subdivision, 4 bedrooms, 4 bath, $560,000, and it's a wonderful ranch-style pool home, approximately 2,600 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, and a 2-car garage. Actually, 2,900 square feet. I see the error in this. All right, 5421 Kelly Road in Plant City. We've got a 3 bedrooms, 3 bath, beautiful property here. $2 million property at 5421 Kelly Road in Plant City. And this is a 8,000 square foot property, 12.89 acres MOL. And the home features a 4-car garage, drive-through garage, custom features such as security system. You've got liquid insulation throughout the house with the walls, steel beams, lots of upgrades to mention here on a beautiful property in the greatest country in the greatest Tri-City area, Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater in the United States. The sun is shining. The weather is sweet. I can't wait for that first cold front to come through.
Oh man, that's
give us a little break, man.
I'm gonna be outside like every day.
Yeah. All right. So we're in studio here. We got Joe Harrison in studio. We got James Lascano on the phone now. If you've listened to our show, if you've been on our show a long time, James Lascano is a longtime friend of the program, and we asked him to call in today and talk about how he's helping business owners out there. He can help you as a transaction broker, either buying or selling a business, or also can offer you a valuation on your business. So, James, tell us more.
Thank you very much, Brandon. As always, I love being part of the show. I did want to mention I just got a hot new listing myself for a beautiful and very rustic type of modern coffee shop up in northern Tampa. It's in a great location. It's growing tremendously. The lady, she has children and she wants to focus more on her kids. She's been doing it for about 3 years. And the business for sale right now for $85,000, and she nets about $43,000. Great business, clean books, which means that, the lady has her financials in order, which is critical in this as well. As well as I also, I think I mentioned last week, the accounting firm that I recently acquired. Amazing business, doing well over $225,000 already year to date net revenue. It'll gross, but by the end of the year, about $350,000. Accounting firms are evaluated completely differently, so people understand that at a price point of $400,000 with $350,000 gross in a year is a great price for an accounting business, especially that it comes with both clienteles of 50% clientele are your standard individuals, and 50% is business, which they do a lot of work with also. And they do they don't just do end of the year tax, they do all year round. They also do payroll and things of that nature. So I wanted to mention those two. One of the key things is obviously the business sales process, which there's reasons why we create processes, obviously, to try to be more efficient. I'm a Six Sigma green belt, and one of the things we try to do when we do anything is to remove any type of anything that could change. We try to stay the course every single time and try to repeat consistently on any type of process or procedure to be as effective as possible. Practice makes perfect. I preach that to my daughter every time. I always tell her, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? And she looks at me, she goes, practice. So she knows that she has to practice her skills to improve. And that's what we try to do at Transworld as well, is we try to make sure that we create a process that is very effective and we are consistent on it,
right.
And make sure that people understand. There's a reason why we do this. Sometimes people ask, no, can we get around this and do it a different way, try to take a shortcut. And most of the time, I try to explain to people, particularly right now I'm dealing with a client that calls me every day, actually maybe 5 times a day, and I tell them, you need to calm down. There's a process in place. There's a reason why these things are done in this manner, really to protect both the buyer and the seller. We all have a date that we want to close. We want to make sure that we meet that date, obviously, and we do everything that we can to do that, and that's why the process is in place, to make sure that all the paperwork's done accordingly, that there are no surprises at closing. I'm sure you understand that nobody wants surprises at closing. Everybody may love a surprise party, but nobody wants to have a surprise at a closing. They want to have everything be as dull as possible and just get it done, get the paperwork signed, and move on. So we, our business process, obviously, and key is the most important thing is to collect all the information. And when we're going to sell a business, and I want to talk about that specifically right now, one of the key things, obviously, is income statements, profit and loss statements, balance sheets, tax returns, leases, and any key agreements with vendors that may exist. That's also a major part of it. And any business particulars that are out there that would affect the business. If you're buying a business that does logistics, business particulars would be focused on, hey, you know what? How much have you been paying for gas in the past, 3 years? Is that, how does your fleet, do you buy vehicles that are, economically sound for gas or not? All these things take into place that you want to collect as much information as possible, because when a buyer calls you, they're going to ask you all these questions. The number one question a buyer always asks any business broker will be, why is he selling? Is he selling because he's retiring? Is he selling, or she, of course, is she selling because, a life change in life, or is she selling me a bad business and she doesn't know how to handle it? If the business is doing great, why does she want to sell now?
Yeah.
All those questions always come up.
They're looking for the underlying reason to understand more about the motivation behind it. And we're talking with James Lascano, Transworld Business Advisors. He's a business broker here in Tampa Bay. And we're talking about ways that you can buy or sell a business, some of the strategies that he employs. And I agree, James, it's when you're looking at buying a business, there's a lot of questions on the table. You want to know the fixed costs, the variable costs. What are the key? Do you have key contracts? In other words, are you diversified in your client base? What about your vendor relationships? There's a lot of questions that need to be answered. And it's kind of like a for sale by owner in real estate. As you know, I'm the owner of Platinum MVP Realty and a top listing agent here in Tampa Bay. So lots of folks try to sell properties on their own when the market's doing well. But on the flip side of that, James can help you sell your business, and he's got a pool of buyers that he's working with, as do I. And so there's some similarities between our two businesses. So James, let's do a call to action here. Maybe you want to offer a valuation, or what do you want to do here?
Sure, I'd love, the first 3 callers that contact us, I'd love to sit down and just, I meet new people every day just like you. I enjoy it. It's something that I believe is great from as well as I try to be an ambassador for Tampa Bay. And I'd love to talk to them and say, look, this is what your business is worth. This is what we're doing. And this is the process that I took to evaluate. Like I said, a business like an accounting firm is so different than like a pizzeria, or so different from a funeral home. Each one of these businesses have to be evaluated carefully, and you have to be very cautious also of the market trends. We have somebody right now selling a business that's a multi-million-dollar business, but it's an internet-based business. So the buyer immediately said, look, I'm looking at the trends right now, and it looks like the reason that the gentleman may want to sell is because competition is high. And I said, yeah, you're right. Competition is high, Maybe the person doesn't know how to continue to think outside the box. I mean, maybe they're just burnt out. We have to talk to the buyer to discuss that with them. But again, the most critical thing as always is also, if you're selling a business, have a good story. Always have a good story, because the buyer is looking at the bottom line. They won't, if the bottom line doesn't look good, they don't even get past us. They're like, okay, this is as far as I needed. But if the bottom line looks good, then they want to find out about the story. They want to understand, look, how have you accomplished this? I want to continue that. What do I need to do? They're going to look to the seller to give them advice, to give them counsel. And remember, every time a buyer buys a business from a seller, when we work through them, the seller normally has a minimum of 2 weeks, 80 hours, 2 weeks, that they are going to be able to provide training that's included in the sales process already under contract. We do that that's a standard procedure.
That's a big point. They're going to hold their hand through that process, through the transition process, help manage some of the key relationships in the business. So for the first 3 callers, what are we offering here, James? We're going to do a valuation?
I'll give them a valuation and go down the line and explain everything, the process of how I took and got theirs. And I'll go ahead and give them a free consultation. Tell them, look, maybe some people that I meet, they just want to meet me so they can say, look, what do you think? I met someone that I told them, look, do you really want to sell? And they said, yeah, I don't know if I want them. Like, you need to do marketing. You need to do this. And I'll give them a couple of short strategies that are through my years in consulting in business. I provided, and they're sound strategies. And a lot of them are very conservative. They're just simple things that people can do to change their business if they don't want to sell. If they're in a place where they don't want to, or maybe they don't understand what could happen. My job, regardless of what takes place, I'm here to help. I want to go ahead and provide assistance and help, because no matter what, that person may know someone else that may want to sell a business, and they'll always remember, James is very nice, fair with me. Maybe you should give him a call if you want to sell your business.
All right, let's do it. First 3 listeners who call, viewers maybe of our TV show on WeBeam TV, we're going to offer this free business evaluation and also a consultation with James Lascano, Transworld Business Advisors. He's a business broker. They help with business sales, franchises, mergers, and acquisitions. So reach out to our consumer advocate hotline, 813-670-7372. Call or text our hotline, 813-670-7372, and we'll put you in touch with James Lascano, Transworld Business Advisors, the best in the business. Thanks, James. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much, Brandon. Always love being part of the show.
Take care, man. Likewise. All right, so when we come back, more from our expert contributors. We've got Joe Harrison in studio, and we're going to talk more about some of this relief efforts here with the hurricane. Royal Caribbean cancels cruise to help hurricane relief efforts. Great story out of Fox News. So stay with us. Don't touch that dial. We're Consumer Quarterback Show, Tampa Bay and the Gulf Coast region's #1 consumer advocate program here. So stay with us. Don't touch that dial. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes, your host here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And, of course, the owner of Platinum MVP Realty and a top listing agent, published author, professional speaker out there. And we'd love to talk to your organization, your group, your nonprofit organization. Love to help you. Kipton's Hotel Zamora on beautiful St. Pete Beach, our official hotel partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Man, you got to check this out. If you have not seen the Hotel Zamora on St. Pete Beach, the Castile restaurant, the rooftop 360 lounge, you have got to check it out. This is a Spanish ancestry meets cool Mediterranean attitude, and it's a whitewashed Mediterranean palace with expansive luxury suites. It's the first new hotel built on St. Pete Beach in decades. So it's a great place to go have a great relaxing afternoon. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner served at the Castile restaurant. Rooftop yoga on the weekends. I love getting out there and doing the yoga sometimes. And, of course, just hanging out by the pool. You got the hot tub, the pool. And if you're a boater like me, I love getting out there on the weekends with Freedom Boat Club. Pull your boat up and hang out. And they've got the bar downstairs as well, and get your drink on maybe a little bit with the service industry Sundays they have going on. And DJ Don Pablo's spinning out there as well on Sundays. So check them out. Now, if you do call them, let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you, and you're going to get a 20% discount off of your room stay just by mentioning the Consumer Quarterback Show here and our membership with them. All right, here in studio, we got Joe Harrison, owner of Harrison Martial Arts, and also John Gaston with me here to my left with WeBeam TV. And we're going to talk about this Royal Caribbean cancels cruise to help hurricane relief efforts. And this is out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So the second largest cruise line operating in the world told Fox Business that due to the hurricane impact, Hurricane Maria, it's canceling Adventures of the Sea cruises to utilize the ship for evacuation and humanitarian efforts. The Adventures will arrive on the 27th, will operate humanitarian efforts to St. Thomas, St. Croix, San Juan, and help evacuate and take donations down there. So interesting that some of these large cruise lines are getting involved. Also, Carnival Corp, one of the world's largest cruise line, told Fox Business that some of its crews are currently traveling to destinations in the Caribbean, donating and delivering supplies, water, food to the Caribbean as well as San Juan. And also our very own Juan Conchero, he's the catering partner for our Consumer Quarterback Show. He is president of On the Upwind Flying Club, and he's been delivering supplies down to Key West and also flying to Puerto Rico. Him and a lot of his fellow pilots out of Tampa, taking thousands of pounds of much-needed supplies down there. So we really appreciate that. And that goes along with the theme of our show of being a force for good in the community and helping others and being that consumer advocate. A couple of hot listings I want to let you know about from Platinum MVP Realty. We've got 215 12th Avenue Northeast in St. Petersburg. This is a 4-bedroom, 5-bath property, $1.19 million, beautiful property in old northeast section of St. Petersburg. So it's your chance to design and build this property as you like it, as far as the colors and the countertops, the cabinets, the appliances, the flooring. Once you're in escrow, you can design the final touches on 215 12th Avenue Northeast in St. Pete. Got a hot property in Palm Harbor as well. This is a developer's dream here. This is a great opportunity. There's an existing single-family home, 1377 Enniswood Parkway in Palm Harbor. 1377 Enniswood Parkway in Palm Harbor. $500,000, 5 bedrooms, 2 bath. Peaceful, quiet, secluded country living with 5 bedrooms, 2 bath, pool home on 2.27 acres in Palm Harbor. Now, the land is going to be developed. It could be potentially developed. So if you're a developer out there, a builder, developer, you have an opportunity to go in there and redesign, come in and change the zoning a little bit and build some nice units. So let's finish up the show strong here. We've got in studio with us, we've got Joe Harrison Martial Arts, and teaching me how to defend myself. As a former football player and state qualifier in wrestling, I have a little bit more of a head start than most people do. Sure. But man, I got to tell you, I enjoy it when I come in there and I work with you. And not only the cardio side, which I need to work on my own a little bit more, but just being able to defend from different situations. Some of the interesting locks that you teach, the knife defense, and disarming a knife. So yeah, man, I enjoy it over there.
No, it's a blast. It's finally it's a dream of mine ever since I was a kid to be able to have my own martial arts studio, dojo, whatever. And it came a little later than I really wanted it to, because before I did martial arts, or before I had a martial arts business, I was a gymnastics coach for 20 years. But that was, like I said, that was an income thing, and I really loved it. But I liked it because I enjoyed teaching. I've always enjoyed being a teacher, an educator, an instructor, and all that. But I actually got into it because I wanted to be a stuntman. And
nice.
So when I came to Florida, I wanted to be a stuntman. So they said, you need to go start doing gymnastics. So I did that. Next thing you know, I'm a coach. 20 years later, here I am. But going back to what we were talking about, is one thing I would like to say about self-defense is that self-defense is first a question of intelligence before it is a question of physical ability. And the reason why I say that is because it has to do with how is the education being delivered. Okay, if your only goal is to learn how to defend yourself physically, well, then you're really doing yourself a disservice, because you're defending yourself all the time. Yeah. You're defending yourself all the time when you're driving in your car, when you're dealing with friends, family, coworkers, you're verbally, emotionally, there's so many other areas. So that's my first thing. And my second thing is a quote that came from a guy named Dan O'Reilly, who is a professor of behavioral economics at Duke University. And the one thing he said that I'll never forget was, it turns out you only need to be 80% good to consider yourself a good person. And nobody else has to know about the other 20. Right. But you could be walking around, everybody thinks you're this good, great person. But what they don't know, what they don't see, is how many times you've been pushed to your limit. And you have to go from being a good person to being somebody that's not so good. Right. Because you have to survive. And that's something that I like to bring up in my studio, is that you have to know what your limits are. And you learn what your limits are by training martial arts and self-defense. That's what it's for. It's not supposed to be a business, but it is. And because it's a business, it has to be delivered in a package kind of way, which really takes away a lot of the real special parts about martial arts, is because it's being delivered as a business and not, because martial arts is a process. It's not a product. And that's what's different about my studio and the way I teach and the way people train there, is they understand from the get-go that they're involved in a process. They're not involved in this 10-minute oil change. Right. It's not come in and then go and then you got it. No instant
it's gratification.
A process. Right. So, I mean, that's basically, the best advice that I could give, the consumers and people that are seeking self-defense training or martial arts or whatever. Do your due diligence, try to figure out what you're trying to get out of it. And lastly, this is for the CWP or the concealed weapons permit carriers, or anybody that's looking to have a concealed weapons permit. Don't hide your physical inadequacies behind a firearm. Right. Because like you said earlier at that last gratitude party, the lady was like, well, I'll just use my gun. There's a lot of consequences to that a lot of people don't know. And the question is, can you even get to it in time? If you just take a bouncy ball and you put your gun where you're going to put it in your hip, your back, your side, whatever, just conceal the weapon, bounce the ball, and before it hits the ground again, see if you can pull out your firearm and before it hits the ground. Most people can't do it. But their first rebuttal to the stuff that they see what I do physically, and they see all this, kung fu type stuff, I'll just use my gun. I'm like, well, you can't even get it out in time anyway.
Sure. Yeah, it's a challenge. I mean, and there's non-lethal ways too. Pepper spray and the little electroshock deals. I forgot what they're called, but taser. Yeah, tasers. But all right, so Joe Harrison Martial Arts, longtime friend of the program, conveniently located in Tampa or in Clearwater as his studio, and it might be talking about a St. Petersburg move at some point. Excellent. But thanks for coming in today, Joe. And we also have our gratitude party coming up. We're inviting any of our listeners, our business owners out there that might want to join us for our next gratitude party. It's Thursday the 19th over at Salem, over at Cox Media Group, in St. Petersburg, 4th Street North, 5:30 over on the 19th, Thursday the 19th over at 1025 The Bone Studios. And a great show today. I want to thank all of our expert contributors, the folks behind the scenes. We want to remind you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Something as simple as packing up leftover food you may have, carrying it with you to and from your commute to work, and handing it to that person that you see in need on the side of the roads. And be a force for good in the community. Buy a lunch or dinner for a off-duty police officer, or any kind of first responders out there. Be a force for good, and we'll see you next time here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show, weekday afternoons at 5 on AM 1380. The Biz.
Enjoy tranquil seclusion in an eco-lover's paradise. Paddling through the mangroves where the only sounds you'll hear are the sounds of nature. Because you deserve to relax on vacation, visit Pasco County, Florida.